This is Reverend Dore, Jacques Patlian, teaching religious science, which is the teaching of the science of mind, from Sarasota, Florida. Another gorgeous day today. Today we want to talk about the house of many rooms. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. That's a direct quote from John 14:2, and I took it from the King James Version of the Bible, and the reason I use that is it's very poetic and pretty, not the most accurate translation by any means. It was written in 1607 during the reign of King James, and he commissioned it. That's why we call it the King James Version. But it is the most popular Bible in the United States that outsells all the others, so I use that translation. Now remember that the King James Version was written in Elizabethan English, which is much different from the English we speak in the 21st century. So words carry very different meanings. And of course, Jesus didn't speak this way. A lot of times we think he spoke in Elizabethan English. He did not, nor did his disciples. He would have been a very plain-spoken man, coming from a humble background, speaking no language but Aramaic, which was the vernacular language of all of what we call Palestine today. And he had no formal education other than rabbinical studies as a young man. What he had to say was said plainly and simply so that the humblest man or woman could understand and absorb the lessons he taught. He wasn't talking to the upper classes. He was talking to fishermen and tax collectors and farmers and shepherds. In my Father's house are many rooms. What do you think that means? Is the master speaking of palaces or houses in the sky or up in heaven? That's what most people think it means, don't they? Or could it be that my Father's house is the mind, that house not built with hands, in which each of us lives every day of our lives? The Bible tells us that as above, so below, which means as it is on the physical plane, so it is above on the spiritual plane. In other words, everything here is mirrored up in the spiritual side of life. Perhaps those rooms are really states of mind that we may inhabit at will, and that's what I tend to believe. Do you know that you have the power to change your state of mind anytime you wish? You do it all the time. One day you may feel on top of the world, the next sad and depressed. And the day after, you may fall madly in love again. Sometimes you're in the mood for love, and other times you just want to be left alone. Your mind is a house with literally thousands of rooms in which you may move about at will. Your mental state or state of mind is the reality that you're experiencing in any given moment of your life. What you may not know is that no one thing or no one put you in the state that you are in. You decided to walk into the next room or to stay where you are. Some of us live in one room or one state of mind all our lives. Others flit from one room to the other constantly. I know quite a few people like that. The wise person crosses only the threshold of the rooms that he or she wants to experience as reality. I'm going to emphasize that. Don't cross the threshold of a room unless you wish to experience that reality, because each room is a snapshot of a different reality that you can experience in your life. You choose the reality that you're experiencing right here and right now. Your mind made the choices. Your mind spoke the words and thought the thoughts that put you in the room or state of mind that you're in. No one can put you into a room or state of mind without your assent and cooperation. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You are the head of your house of many rooms. How does this house with many rooms work? Well, let's suppose you've never seemed to have enough. Your life is just a long string of episodes where you get by, but you never seem to have enough. Never enough money, never enough joy, never enough of anything you want. You're living in the room of lack and limitation. It's a place where there's never enough. There is enough to survive, but not enough to prosper. How did you get into this room, and where do you get the key? Remember that time a few months ago when you were watching a show about millionaires and said, "I could never have that kind of money. People like us never live like that. All I want is 3 square meals, a warm bed, and a warm spouse." Well, okay, you just unlocked the room of lack and limitation. You ordered the small, simple, basic life, just like placing an order in a restaurant. And if you place that order often enough with talking like that, you will have that order delivered to you by being in the room of lack and limitation. Your thoughts and words and the life choices that they lead to are the keys to the doors of the rooms in your Father's house. Your Father's house is your mind. It's not your Father's mind. It's yours. It is the house he or she built for you on the day that you were born. Now, how you furnish the house, what color you paint the walls, whether they're bright and cheery or dark and somber, and which rooms you choose to live in are totally your responsibility and your prerogative. You are the master of this house. You got the key on the day you were old enough to think your own thoughts, speak your own words, and make your own decisions. You now decide which mental state or room you enter, how long you stay there, and when you leave. When people become mentally ill, they lose temporarily or permanently the ability to choose the rooms that they live in. They lose the keys and become fixated in one room or another, forgetting how to move about from one room to the other. So they stay in one room. It's often pretty dark and scary. Those of us with sound minds, free of mental illness, need to know our way around the Father's house. We need to know what each room contains, what realities lie within, and then make wise choices about which room to enter and which room should be permanently sealed. And believe me, there are some you don't ever want to go in. There are wonderful rooms, and there are rooms of sheer misery and horror. It's wise to know what you want in your life and enter only the rooms that will provide those things. That's an important point. If you really don't know what you want and all you know is what you don't want, which is how most of us are, you guess which rooms you're going to enter? All the ones that you don't want, because that's all you're thinking about. You have to get a mental picture of what you want and focus on that if you want to get in the good rooms. You want to get out of Motel 6 and get into the Ritz-Carlton? Start thinking about the Ritz-Carlton and forget about the Motel 6. It's pretty simple, really. Navigating well the states of your mind or the rooms in your Father's house is the key to a happy and successful life. On next post, we'll explore the passage of John that says, I go there before you to prepare a place for you. And what in the world does that mean? It's going to give you an idea that's quite different from what most of your preachers have told you. Until then, know what you want in life and only enter the state or mind or room that will provide that experience. Stay out of the rest of the house. You want to know more about how to use your 3 great powers that you were given by God and how to navigate this life journey? Log on to csl.org. That's csl.org. And find the nearest Center for Spiritual Living. That's what we call our churches. And attend one of our wonderful Sunday celebrations or sign up for a class. We've got them all over the country, and we have a presence in over 30 foreign countries. You may feel that you finally come home. Until we're together again, richest blessings on you and all you love. Why not subscribe to my blog, wakeupandlive.net, and youtube.com, user REV, and never miss a podcast or a post. Until we're together again, bye-bye for now.